Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Commit to Get Fit with Laura Dion-Jones. I'm Laura Dion-Jones, and I have a question for you. When you hear a voice within you say, you cannot lose weight, then by all means do whatever it takes to lose that weight, and your demon will be silenced forever, because that is your demon voice that you hear. You know deep down that you can do it. You can lose all your unhealthy, unwanted weight once and for all, and we can show you how. But you have to have the tools, and I will give you the tools. But the first thing you have to do is you really gotta wanna. Now, what is the one action step that you can take every day this week to push your health and fitness plans along? You need a personal action plan, and we want to hear from you tonight and also tomorrow night on my Blog Talk radio show, which starts also at 7 o'clock. You can listen live from my website at commit-fit.com. Information. And again, I am a certified wellness coach, a certified corporate wellness coach, a pro-health activist, a motivational lifestyle writer and speaker, and I am considered to have an unofficial PhD in obesity because I lived my lifetime in those shoes. I lost 130 pounds in 2.5 years by cutting white starch and sugar from my diet and by making daily walking a lifelong habit. Since January 1st of 2003, I've walked over 25,000 miles, over 30,000 miles actually, and I left 150 pounds behind me. I also, through my radio show, helped 182 Elgin area residents lose 1,800 pounds in 18 months in my Commit to Get Fit Elgin's Biggest Loser competition. When we want to help you find the secret to your own true and everlasting weight loss, that's why we're here every Monday night, and we bring you some of the best health and fitness experts that we can. We've had Dr. Jamie Bales on, a pediatric endocrinologist, Colette Heimowitz, Vice President of Akin Nutritionals, and tonight we have a very special guest. His name is Tony Laban, and he is a former registered USA swim coach, now retired. And we want to welcome Tony to the studio with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in this evening.
No problem.
It's terrific to have you here because everybody, I think, loves to swim. Everybody would learn everybody should learn to know how to swim.
Absolutely.
Especially the younger kids are, the better. Just give us briefly a little bit background on yourself.
Background on myself, pretty much been in IT my whole life, but a number of years ago, like about 25, we moved into a new neighborhood and wanted to get our oldest daughter involved with some activities. So we talked to some of the neighbors, and they recommended the local swim club at southwest suburbs at one of the high schools. And so we enrolled her, and she loved it. To get more involved with her and her swimming, and I was always a pretty good swimmer when I was younger, I decided to become a registered swim coach, and I was president of the swim club locally, and went through all the classes and certifications and everything to become a swim coach, registered coach with USA Swimming. So I can get involved with my kids and all the other kids in the swim club on the pool deck for practices and meets and etc. We had a very good head coach, but she was kind of demure in her speaking, and I thought we needed a little more motivation and oomph, for the kids to get psyched up before the races. So I got involved with that and would talk to all the kids before their races, behind the blocks to
Pump them up.
Either amp them up, get them psyched up for the race, or calm some nerves, go over, race strategy, talk to them about their strokes and stuff, what to remember. And as all the rest of my kids moved up, taught them how to swim when they were like 2, got them into the swim clubs when they were 6, and did it for about 14 years. And then after they were all done with their swim careers as youngsters and high schoolers, I retired.
Oh. Good. I was a lifeguard in high school, so I'm no stranger to swimming.
Cool.
I was born in Coral Gables, Florida. It's, near South Beach. My grandparents had a home down there, and I have a
Nice.
picture of myself when I was 9 months old in the pool. I'm sure my mother was, or whoever, someone was in the pool with me this
Sure.
far out of the frame, but I was 9 months old and I was on my back and I was like this little floaty little mermaid kid. So I've always been more at home actually in the water than on dry land. And let me give a couple more little stories on my swimming background. Also, before we proceed, we lived in South Chicago. I was what they called a junior leader at the South Chicago YMCA, where I assisted the instructors teaching the 3 to 5 year olds, 2 to 5 year olds how to swim. And I was also on the swim team at the Y. I was a diver, more in freestyle, and I could do maybe 2.5 lengths of an Olympic pool underwater back in the day, like
Wow.
Shirley Winters and Poseidon. Seriously. And I do have to tell you something. I went to Chicago Vocational High School, and there are a host of kids that owe their diplomas to me, because this was back in the day when we had the big hairdos and the lipstick and nobody wanted to get their hair wet, and I was always in the water. And so it would be, a couple weeks before graduation, and they would be tracking me down and like, Laura, you got to help me. You got to teach me how to dive. I can't graduate. I can't. And those were in the days when you had to have PE. I can't pass PE. I can't dive. I can't do this. I can't do that. So if you're out there, anybody listening, call in if I was the person who helped you get your diploma from Chicago Vocational High School, because there were many kids that begged and bribed
See,
me.
they owe you.
They do owe me, yeah, and I should call in those
Call 'em up
favors,
for the
because
favors.
who knows where they
Yeah,
are
exactly.
today. But anyway, that's kind of my swimming background, and we used
Good.
to do something kind of stupid in those days. And if there's any kids watching, I don't want you to go out there and do it, but we used to, for practice, open water swimming, we used to swim out to the crib, and that's like 2 miles out. Isn't the crib 2 or 2.5 miles
Yeah, there's
out?
a few of them.
Never, ever, ever dawned on us, and we used to do it from Rainbow Beach, and it never dawned on us that maybe a boat propeller would come by and chop us, to smithereens. But we figured, they'll see our heads, they'll see us swimming. So, knock wood, luckily we never got into that kind of trouble, but that's the kind of swimming that we used to do. And I also was, when I was in high school, a lifeguard at Riviera Club, before the outer drive, when we still had the S-curve, before they kind of straightened it out. And it's that dome swimming
Right.
pool at Outer Drive East. Yeah, so I worked there as a lifeguard for a time when I was in high school. So I'm a very big proponent of swimming.
Good.
And swimming for fitness. And tell us something. Why exercise in water versus dry land? What is your opinion on that?
Great question. Well, as you know, water versus air. Water is 1,000 times denser than air. It has about 15 times the resistance of air. But the nice thing about water is the buoyancy of water counteracts the gravity that befalls us all as we age and doing exercise. So,
Gravity
yeah,
and age? What are you talking about?
some things move south.
Oh,
But for example, if you're up to your neck in water, you weigh 10% of what you do on land. So you take a lot of the stress off your joints.
say that again.
If you're up to your neck in water,
Okay.
and let's say you weigh 200 pounds
Okay.
on land, in water you only weigh 20
Really?
because of the buoyancy.
No kidding.
Yep. And because of the natural resistance in water and because of the buoyancy takes the stress off your joints, swimming is probably the absolute best form of exercise, whether it's actual swim stroking or doing water exercise, water aerobics, etc., because it's very low impact on your joints. So if you have arthritis, it's outstanding because, again, a lot of that pain in your joints in water. Anything where, and it's also very, because you got that warm, humid air in an indoor pool
Sure.
that you don't have outside, so it's
Sure.
easier on your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And just, motions like, you move your hand across in the air, it takes no effort. We're used to being above water and ground.
Mm-hmm.
You go underwater and move your hand, it becomes a lot harder.
Resistance,
With
yeah.
the resistance.
Yeah.
So if it's something that you do any type of exercise or motion that increases the resistance, it also increases the amount of energy it takes to do the exercise. Increased amount of energy to perform the function means you're burning more calories. So, you're consuming more calories to do the exercise. You'll, again, with the proper diet and everything like that, you will.
No kidding. Something we were talking about the pre-interview. Do you know anything about the porpoise effect? Did you have a chance to look that up? Because I do know that that's a factor when people want to swim for weight loss. Unless you can really hardcore swim and develop your stroke to a much more efficient ability than, say, you have normally. What is your view on swimming as your sole cardio source for weight loss?
Okay.
Is what I'm trying to say.
The only thing I'm familiar with porpoising is the porpoising motion,
No.
But
there's a thing called porpoise effect.
Okay.
Where because your body temperature gets lowered because of the temperature of the water and...
Well, like any kind of exercise, you get the biggest bang for your exercise is how much you put into it. You can sit there and play in the water, and it's no different than playing in a sandbox.
Yeah,
you can do minimal amount of exercise in water, just like if you were just, walking really slow around the block. That's not going to get you anything either. So you got to put some effort into it. A lot of the best results in swimming and how you train swimmers also for performance is you can do warm-ups where you say, okay, swim 200 yards, swim 500 yards, etc. But as far as working on your speed, and if you're looking at it from a weight loss standpoint, is you want to exert a great amount of effort over a short period of time and then a short rest in between, and then go at it again. So you're performing at a high level of energy more often than just sit there, coasting along at 20%. So, yeah, there's... swimming is like other exercises. It's just we're doing it in a different medium. And
you get out of it what you put into it.
Exactly.
So if you go in and you're in aerobics class and you're just kind of...
going through...
And see these people here, they're not really going through the motions. They're
just doing basically stationary exercise. Really want to burn up the calories and like I said, put the effort into it, whether it's swimming or playing volleyball or jogging, running, working out, playing tennis. It's what you put into it. So the harder you work at it, the more dedicated you are to anything, whether it's exercise, sports, work, life, etc., the bigger impact you're going to get.
We have a caller. His name was Joseph, and he didn't stay on the phone. Oh, he's on the phone? Oh, put him...
Good evening. How you doing?
Hey,
with all the different benefits of swimming, you'd think it'd be much more valuable, especially if you look on the south side. There's not too many YMCAs, or even look at schools that have swimming pool because of budget restraint. And in some cases, it has gotten so bad, it even have to be a public safety issue now, because if you look at some of the policemen, firemen, even some of the deputy sheriff, you'd be amazed. Some of them do not know how to swim.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really ridiculous a lot of times. And I just wonder, like you said, I think swimming is one exercise where you exercise all your muscles at one time. And you think because of all the benefits, we'll have facilities where young children know how to swim. And we're in a situation now where we have some children that are drowning because they don't have swimming classes at their school.
Yeah, that's a good point, Joseph. And we encourage all parents to get their children involved with swimming as early as possible. The younger you are, the easier it is. And of course, swimming is one of the things that you can do that'll save your life or maybe someone else's life too. So,
and sometimes I wonder why parents are not out there advocating for it, because all the money we pay in taxes around the city of Chicago, you think somehow in the budget they could have these YMCAs and some of these schools, they would have pools where they could teach that sort of stuff. That's all I want to say. Take care.
Thank you very much for bringing up the question. Tune in tomorrow night on our Blog Talk Radio show, and we will get into this more in depth.
Just a little bit about that. It's something we can talk about. There's the YMCA's. So check out your phone books and stuff where the Ys are. High schools, a lot of them have pools, some of them don't. So, it depends on where you live. I'm not as familiar with the high schools within the city of Chicago that have pools versus the suburban schools, because I've been in, I think, every high school or college pool within 200 miles of Chicago in my life.
How many kids you have? I forgot.
4.
4 kids. So he saw 4 kids through major swimming careers.
45 out of the 52 weeks of the year we were, in the pool or at swim meets on weekends.
That's a dedicated dad.
But if you look to the suburbs, for example, check your local high school. Also, some of the larger health clubs have pools, and they'll have water exercise classes, water aerobics. They'll also have usually learn to swim programs. I know all the swim clubs in suburban Chicago all have learn to swim programs through their high school, because all the swim clubs swim at usually local high school pools. In the state of Illinois, there are over 100 swim clubs that are organized through Illinois Swimming and USA Swimming as the overall parent for the country, where you can find out where's the closest swim club to where you live and call them up and get involved. If your kids know how to swim already, get them in, to join the swim club and compete. If they don't know how to swim,
it's good for their self-confidence.
Absolutely, it's good for self-confidence. We'll have usually learn to swim in the summer for kids. Illinois Swimming Inc. is the governing body for the state of Illinois. It's at www.illswim.org. The state of Illinois has been for decades. We have the second most number of registered USA swimmers in the country, besides the state of California, like approaching 20,000.
Wow.
And from my experience, in our last couple of Olympics, there was kids I knew since they were 10 years old and watched them swim because they were here in Illinois and suburban Chicago and made the Olympic team and won gold medals.
Let's quickly give our listeners some particular health benefits to swimming. I know for myself, 22 years ago, I had a ski injury. I almost lost my right leg, and I did a lot of rehab in the water with an aqua jogger belt, 8 feet deep water tethered to the side, and I would go for hours. And I know that they do rehab. A lot of the pro athletes, the Olympic athletes, when they have issues, they do rehab in the water.
Yeah, a very good point. It is excellent therapy, and it is good for rehab for people and also animals. And racehorses do do rehab in horsey pools. But it's because of the that buoyancy factor and the lessened gravity, because it takes the stress off the joint, so it's a low impact. You're still using your muscles, lengthening ligaments. And you're getting your range of motion, but you're taking the pressure off the joint by doing it in water. And there is a lot of tools and devices that people can have that even add to the resistance of being in the water. The paddles.
Gloves. I have a pair of web gloves.
And they also have like a belt you can put on that has wings on it, so it makes it harder to walk, even if you're just walking in waist-high water, increasing the resistance. So, yeah, there's... and we talked a little bit about the asthma. So if you do have problems with
asthma,
that,
arthritis,
arthritis is huge. The other big one,
knees.
For the knees. But I mean, for a group of people who get a huge benefit out of wanting to continue to exercise, but because of a condition, not a condition, it's actually a blessing. Pregnant women. There's a lot of exercise classes in water for pregnant women because again it takes that buoyancy helps with the imbalance of weight when you're 6, 7, 8 months pregnant.
You would suggest then, if people want to find out where to do this for themselves, that they go Swimming Incorporated?
Yeah, because they can do that for their children. They can also do that for themselves, because there's links there for master swimming, which is basically adults. So if you want conditioning for yourself, or maybe you were a former swimmer and you haven't done it for 20 or 30 years, and you want to get back in the pool and give yourself some motivation and some goals to meet, and try to make some of the times that you did when you were a swimmer as a young. There's master swimming meets. So there's different age groups from 20 up to 80, and you can continue your swimming career. And again, it's just an outstanding form of exercise. It's fun. Who doesn't like to be in the water?
Yeah.
And,
Feels good.
And yeah, feels good. The other thing is if you do your exercises or do your workouts in cooler water, you're going to also burn more calories because your body has to create more heat to be able to warm itself. 70-degree day, you can stand out there in your shorts with no shirt on if you're a guy, and it's no big deal. You spend an hour in 70-degree water, you're going to get cool.
Yeah.
So you have to expend more energy.
What do you think would help people get involved with swimming? What would be other benefits to help people encourage? Say the parents aren't swimmers. Just because you're not a swimmer, you have to realize the importance of teaching your kids, getting your kids taught how to swim before summer.
Great question. Most of the parents we had in the swim clubs and all other swim clubs, that I've met wonderful people with, more than half the parents aren't swimmers. Well, they weren't swimmers when they were young. They're not swimmers now, but they want to. Their kids enjoy it, and if your kids enjoy it, then my God, let them do it and support them as much as possible. Go to the meets, encourage them. It's something that's a wonderful activity, keeps them in shape, keeps you toned, and if you're really, really good at it, maybe you'll get a college scholarship.
That's the plus there.
But it's a great way to spend quality time on the weekends with your kids. I did it for, like I said, almost 15 years, and we were together as a family every weekend, probably 3 out of the 4 weekends. Get up early Saturday morning, go to the meet, warm up start at 7, meet starts at 8, and it goes till 6.
What a dad. Give us quickly, because we're running out of time, one
Okay.
action step people can do to begin to get their kids involved with swimming.
Go to the website, go to illswim.org, or get a hold of the health club in your area that may have a pool,
High school.
or the Y, or your high school.
Parks.
Talk to the park district in the summer. All parks have the pools have swim programs in the summer for kids, for adults, whether it's open swim or exercise. I encourage you to do it. It was probably the greatest thing. One of the greatest things I did with my kids growing up, and I know it helped them a lot through their schooling also, because it teaches you a lot of time management. You meet a lot of wonderful families, and it's just a fantastic activity.
Give us quickly what one word best describes you.
Focused.
Focused. Good one. What is your favorite physical pastime?
Wow.
Cardio-wise.
Cardio-wise. Well, even though I look pretty much like an NFL lineman, I used to be a very good distance runner.
You were?
Yeah, before knee operations. Ran several marathons, did several of them under 3 hours, so I was pretty fast.
That's wonderful to hear. I would like to, if you'd like to email me with any questions or concerns, Laura@commit-fit.com, www.commit-fit.com is my website, and my health and fitness blog is at commit-fit.blogspot.com. And questions, please be sure to tune in tomorrow night to my Commit to Get Fit with Laura Dion-Jones blog talk radio show for more swimming and in-water exercise, health, and fitness questions answered, and more great info from Tony Laban swimming and any kind of programs for weight loss, why it's the best all-around solution for you. Terrific motivation and information for anyone who struggles with their weight. Tony, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Please tune in next week for Commit to Get Fit with Laura Dion-Jones, both our TV and our radio shows. I would like to thank everyone for the happy, and I would like to say to everyone, Semper Fi, kids, pray for peace, and we hope that you'll be with us tomorrow night at Blog Talk Radio Show. Otherwise, we'll see you right back here next Monday night with another health and fitness expert on Commit to Get Fit with Laura Dion-Jones, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, CAN TV, available to watch live through my website, commit-fit.com. Thank you so much for tuning in.